There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real.
Hey, it's a great day. Today is day 56 on the Pacific Crest Trail. On day 54, I had a great breakfast at Sierra Pines Resort in Sierra City, and then started the long slog up into the Sierra Buttes. The ascent out of Sierra City is quite notorious for amongst through hikers. All in total, it's about 8-mile long, slow climb to get up to the top. Coming up near the top of the Sierra Buttes. Real pretty. A lot of switchbacks, but real pretty when you get up towards the top. It's a long, slow grind coming up from Sierra City up into the Sierra Buttes. But you are treated with some incredible views. Stunning countryside. Wound up doing 21 miles that day, still nursing a hurt knee that I injured coming down Tinker. And I linked up with Terminator. You might recall him from an earlier video. We went up Forester Pass together. And also Dallas, another thru hiker, very good thru hiker, that I met in Desolation Wilderness. So been hiking with them. Day 55, just walking through the beautiful scenery of this part of Northern California. The terrain doesn't have the stark contrast that you see like in Kings Canyon National Park or Yosemite. A lot of hills covered in trees, but it's very, very pretty. And because the trees are there, they've probably been there for at least a couple 100,000 years. Which builds up a topsoil and makes the trail a nice hard packed dirt instead of walking on rocks. And so it's been very nice to my knee because of that. Look at all the moss on these trees. Just walking along, I come across this forest. All the trees have got moss on them. So that's what I did on day 55. Wound up doing 25 miles for day 55. Today, day 56. Looking at doing maybe 25, 26 miles. But why today is special? Today we start the first of what this section of the Pacific Crest Trail is notorious for. And that is the long descents down to the river valleys. There's a number of rivers that cross the Pacific Crest Trail in Northern California. And so you got to get down. You got to get down. Typically, they cross over at a road bridge. Kind of like the Sierras are known for the passes. this part of the PCT is known for the long descents going down into these river valleys to cross over, and not so much for the descent, but on the other side, you got to get back up. So typically you go from about 7,000 feet down to about 2,000 feet, and then back up to 7,000 feet in a period of about 6 miles. And so it makes for kind of a long slog to get up on the other side. And today is the first of that. Again, there's about half a dozen or more along this section of the PCT. Today, we will be crossing over the middle fork of the Feather River. And so this is the first of it. Not too bad. I think it's about a 4,000 foot descent and then a 4,000 foot ascent. Tomorrow going down into Belden, that's a 5,000 foot descent. And so that one will be a little bit more challenging. But it's all good. It's all part of the trail. It's going to be fun. So if you look, we're making our way down into the valley for the middle fork of the Feather River. And you can see we've got a long descent ahead of us in the next 3.8 miles. And then going up the other side. Then making our way down these long switchbacks. A little bit of shale on the trail. Tail a little steep. And these continue for 3-4 miles, just trying to go down. Until still got a ways to go. There we go. Nice little footbridge going over the middle fork of the Feather River. So that was the middle fork of the Feather River, and so now looking at about 9 miles, covering about 4,500 feet just going up. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. It's all good. It's all good. It's just part of this part of the Pacific Crest Trail. You stay on the high ground, enjoy it, and then every once in a while you got to get down and cross the river and enjoy the descent and enjoy the ascent on the other side. I'm about 10 miles north of the middle fork of Feather River. Spent the last 10 miles just slogging up a long hill, but this is the reward. The view is just absolutely spectacular. Just to be surrounded by all this is just, it is incredible. Maybe it's a bear. It's got big ears. No. Yeah, it's a bear. It's a great day. Today is day 57 on the Pacific Crest Trail. To close out day 56, wound up hiking 26 miles yesterday, which was good. And the knee felt great. You know, took it slow, took it easy, and worked out really nice. I'm pretty happy about that. So for today, day 57, we're going to be descending about 5,000 feet down to the North Fork of the Feather River. And unlike yesterday, where we ascended the other side the same day, today we'll be doing the 19 miles down to the river, but we'll be staying in the tiny town of Belden, which is at the bottom. It's got a little resort, restaurant, general store, some tenting, cabins, that sort of thing. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And I know I'm using the we. It isn't the royal we. I have been hiking with Terminator and Dallas for the last few days, which has been really nice. And when I say we've been hiking together, you know, sometimes when you're with a trail family, sometimes you're right next to each other and you're hiking along. Sometimes you're miles apart, and you just kind of, in the morning, you pick out where you're going to camp that evening, and you know, you make the mark at the end of the day, and you might see each other for breaks. You might see each other at water points or lunch. You may hike together parts. You just the idea is to hike your own hike. Do what you feel is best for your body, and it's just nice at the end of the day or periodically to exchange ideas and see how each other's doing. But Terminator and Dallas are just incredible hikers, and it's just really nice to be with them for the days that we'll be together. So yep, we're going to be heading down to Belden. It's going to be a great day. Coming to the top of this rise, got this spectacular view, and then off in the distance, I think that is Mount Lassen National Park, where I'll be in a few days. Pretty awesome. Below me is Silver Lake, just such an incredibly pretty lake. And then in the background, the mountains. All the different shades. You know, I know it's not true, but when I stand here, it just feels like it's all just for me. I'm the only person. It's an incredible feeling. Starting to make our descent down to the North Fork of the Feather River, and you can see from where we're at and where we got to go. This isn't it. The actual site is around to the far right of me, but you can see just from elevation change, it's going to be a ways down. Yeah, I just want to close out day 57 on the Pacific Crest Trail. We got down to the Belden Town Resort. We were able to get a room, which was really nice. So Terminator Dallas and I are split a room, and it's very comfortable. It's really good to be clean and have all the laundry done and resupplied and ready to go for tomorrow. My wife and sister came and joined us for a few hours. I'm still pretty close to home, so they came and saw me, and it was very nice to see them again. I wanted to talk a little bit about mileage, since if you noticed, I talk about miles, how many miles I've done. If you've read any of the YouTube comments, you know, sometimes they're about miles, and so if you don't know much about through hiking, you might be wondering, you know, hey, what's this obsession with mileage? To a certain extent, a through hike is all about miles and mileage. You know, unlike when you go with your family and you go hiking or backpacking and camping or something like that for a weekend or a couple weeks or that sort of thing, a through hike actually has a starting point and an ending point. And if it's a long hike like the Pacific Crest Trail, it does have a certain weather window in which that can be accomplished. For the Pacific Crest Trail, that weather window is, in general, is 5 months, going from about 15 April to 15 September if you're heading northbound from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. That time period, coincidentally, coincides with the average number of days that a through hiker takes to complete the Pacific Crest Trail. And as you know, only 20% of those who start the PCT actually complete it. But for those that do complete it, the average number of days that it takes through hikers to complete that is 150 days. Now, some through hikers will complete the hike earlier. They'll do it in 120 days, 4 months, considered strong hikers. Some people will take longer. They'll take 180 days, 6 months to be able to complete it. But for them, kind of two ways they do it. Either they risk going past 15 September, and that's kind of in general is considered the safe date to be able to hit the Canadian border. And if you go past that, then you're risking an early snow hitting the northern Cascades and your through hike being shut down. So people that take longer than 5 months, 150 days, and are adding it on beyond 15 September, that's what they risk. And in some years it's not a problem, in some years it is. I mean, their through hike is shut down. Some people add time to the start of the through hike. They start earlier than 15 April. They'll start into early March, going through Southern California, and gain more time to be able to cover the ground that way. For those individuals, that comes with its risks and challenges as well. Southern California is not immune to winter conditions. Just this year, a PCT through hiker, a young man, died in one of the mountain ranges in Southern California because of snow and ice. So that starting early does have its risks and challenges. But for the average person, 150 days, and when you break that down into 5 months and the weeks, it comes out to 132 miles per week that a person has to walk in order to complete the trail in the 5 months. Now, you probably realize that some people start off kind of slow in the desert. They may not do 132 miles per week. They may start at 90 or 70. Well, those miles don't go away. They have to be accounted for at some point. And either they're added to weekly mileage later on in the trail when it's considered easier, like Northern California or in Oregon, or it gets added on to the end of the hike, again going past 15 September,
and for those miles to be done. But and you can do those miles any way you want. I mean, you can do 7 days a week, you hike, or you can hike 6 days a week, whatever you prefer, and then take a day off if that's what you like to do. But it comes out to 132 miles per week that a person has to do in order to meet the 5-month window. And some people, they just, yeah, it's one of the reasons some people aren't able to complete their thru hike, is they just can't hit the mileage every week, and they just simply run out of time. At the end of it, snow comes in and it shuts down their thru hike. So that's why, you know, it's just one of those, you know, realities of doing a thru hike when you go beyond just looking at the great views and the wonderful experiences and meeting all the people. In the back of every thru hiker's mind is, yeah, I've got to do miles. I've got to do 132 a week if I want to stay on track. And if I do more, I'm doing okay. And if I do less, I've got to make that up sometime. So that's why miles become so important for PCT or any thru hikers. And that's why it's discussed, and that's why I bring it up, so people know what kind of where I'm at, and am I tracking or not. And that helps them if they're watching these videos and they're trying to plan their future PCT thru hike. You know, how can they look at a certain section? What can they judge that they'll be able to accomplish every day or every week in order to get through that section and make it to Canada before the snow comes in? So that's why the miles. Well, this has been a great section of the PCT. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get up early and get out of Belden and make the long slog up the mountain, and it's going to be great. It's just part of the journey. See you next time.
There was a time in this fair land